Hey everyone, this is Austin-Sensei, and welcome back to another review of Shield Hero. Before we begin, I would like to say, if this video gets 30 likes, I will do the Darling Frank stream. That means covering PV, character analysis, opening analysis, and obviously if we get to 40 likes, I'll do a part 2 of the first episode, Butthurt People kind of thing. But yeah, anyways, let's kick off to this review already. Now, before we get further into this, I'm just going to say, what an emotional episode. They've cut a couple things from the manga, but it was more of, you can understand why, but nonetheless, we are continuing from episode 1, and this was a 23-minute episode. I was a bit surprised, because they did say at first that we're going to come out with 2 episodes that were 47 minutes or an hour long, but as you know, information usually gets skewed on the internet. But nonetheless, I really wish every episode was 47 minutes. I know that's crazy to say, but it's just, I want them to cover as much as possible, because we got like 300 plus chapters in the light novel to cover in. We're making some of it in, I guess, but nonetheless, back to the thing. So, we see the slave trader tries to sell Nofumi the best, slave he has, which is a werewolf or a demi-human. Well, actually, it's more a werewolf. I'm not going to say a demi-human because we later learn what that is. But anyway, so it was 15 gold, and of course, Nofumi couldn't afford it, and it was a plea. I thought this was funny because this is kind of what, if you ever go and try to buy something like a car, a fridge, or anything like that, they're gonna try, the salesperson's going to try to get you to buy the most expensive thing. Once you see it, you don't want it, but you'll come back when you have enough money to go get it, since they offered you the best first, kind of thing. It's the little marketing kind of idea, but don't fall for it. That's all I gotta say. But anyways, so we see Nofumi say no, and he is kind of looking for an obedient and cheap kind of slave, and I know this episode is going to get more controversy, and as I said before, if you want me to cover, actually, I'll probably cover this in the next video, do let me know, but he was looking for a demi-human, basically, and this is going to probably spark more controversy, and it's just, I don't think these people are going to read forward, and it pisses me off, but Nofumi thinks that slaves aren't people, they're just no different from equipment, and, and that's kind of how he is. He's cold still. He's still betrayed by the world. The world doesn't accept him. That's why the way he is acting is the way he's acting. But I'm pretty sure no one's going to watch past that's going to complain about this episode, because later on he makes up for it. But we see that Nofumi is interested in the half-raccoon, which is Raphatilia. I'm going to call her Raffi, even though there's another Raffi that's going to show up. So when she shows up, or he shows up, I don't remember exactly. It's been a little while since I read the light novel. I'll call her a different name, but I don't think in this season. But nonetheless, we see that basically Nofumi gets Raphatilia, or Raffi, and she has this crest that makes it impossible for her to defy Nofumi, and this is all on all slaves, and it's showing the sad part of that Nofumi can't trust people that easily. He's still bitter from what happened, and we find out that the raccoon's name is Raphatilia, or Raphatalia, however you want to say it. I don't really care. It doesn't matter, because it's pronounced either way, honestly. But anyway, so we see Nofumi bring Raphatilia, or Raffi, to the old man, Smith, and to get a weapon. He's going to put money into her, kind of like an investment, and Nofumi makes Raffi kill the orange bubble monster to gain experience, or to see how it would work, and we see her get experience, and we get a little knock back to good old Malty, or Maine, how people want to say it. I'm calling her Malty since I've read ahead, but how she didn't do the party system, and basically it was I guess if he had more information, you're going to see he gets a lack in information as a hero, and it's going to bother him later down the road, but he kind of is like, really, I'm not surprised. If I knew that earlier, I could have saved myself, basically. And Nofumi tells Raffi that he will make her fight, basically to earn her stay. And this, as I said, this was just to show how cold he is. He's still a bitter person from the first episode, and I know people are going to take it a different way, but I actually really like this. We saw a contrast to another slave owner. I don't think this actually was in the manga, of like making his demi-human slaves work extremely hard, not even caring about them or their well-being. And I thought that was a good contrast to seeing, Nofumi going and buying Raffi equipment, or Raphatilia, And we see Raffi is hungry, and I thought it was quite adorable. You hear the growl in the anime, and she was embarrassed. She says she's not hungry, but she is. And we see that the rumor of the Shield Hero is spreading more and more and more, and it's going to surround him for a while. And Nofumi actually goes and spends more money on Raffi's food, or Raphitilia's food, than he does on his own food, which I thought was quite an interesting touch. They even had that in the manga. As I said, if you want more in detail and more adorable scenes, pick up the manga. It is, I think, on Crunchyroll's website, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, we see that Raffi starts to eat with her hands first, and that was supposed to symbolize kind of how uncivilized she is. She's been a slave for a good while. I mean, I'm not trying to spoil things. When you learn more of her background, it's painful, honestly. But then she starts to eat with a fork, because she saw Nofumi doing the same thing, and Nofumi still doesn't taste anything. And it kind of symbolizes that he's not comfortable still in this world. And we see that Nofumi goes out to train Raffi or Raphitilia. I still haven't decided, and we're still this far in the video. Oh boy. So we see Raphitilia ask Nofumi who he is, and he tells her that he's the Shield Hero. And she actually has a flashback to her parents. And the one thing as I said, I've read the manga multiple times. I may get this scene wrong, but the one thing that was missing is her friends talking about how they all want to marry the Shield Hero. And the Shield Hero has always been kind to the demi-humans, the only kind hero to the demi-humans, nonetheless. And Nofumi actually went out of his way to craft medicine for Raffi to heal up, and he kind of basically treats her like a daughter. That's kind of the relationship that I think the author or the director in this episode wanted to get across. And of course she spits out the medicine because it's bitter, just like any other kid drinking medicine. I've done the same, I'm not gonna lie, but quite hilarious scene. Now we go to like the nighttime, and we see Raffi having a nightmare while she's sleeping, of course, and we see a flashback of the three-headed dog that killed her parents during the first wave in the east. And she wakes up crying, and Nofumi as I said, if Nofumi was such a bad person, if this anime was such making fun of slavery, as I said, I have to put this in here, he wouldn't go and comfort her like he did, and I thought that was the sweetest thing, and it tugged at my heartstrings. And I call Raphitilia ready. I claim her. So, ha! But anyways, we see Nofumi later the next day, or the day after, whatever you want to call it, sells the herbs that he collected and kind of takes the money worth to equipment to better himself, basically. And Raffi sees that kids are playing with a ball, and she tries to hide it that she doesn't want it, but out of nowhere Nofumi actually gets her the ball. And I thought, it's a contrast. He's warming up to Raphitilia and trusting her, and quite adorable. And Nofumi goes to the inn and basically kind of threatens the guy if he doesn't get him a room. He has the monster that will chew on him, as he usually does. I thought it was hilarious. Then we get in a montage of Nofumi taking care of Raphitilia, and it's just, if you haven't noticed, she's one of my top favorites. She's actually #1 with 02 right now on my waifu list. And next episode, I'll talk about that a little later, but Nofumi takes Raffi out to train again, and a bunny comes to attack her, but he gets in the way and defends her. He's the shield, she's the sword. And basically Nofumi tells her to kill the rabbit or bunny, and she hesitates because she's scared of blood. She doesn't want to have blood on her. And basically Nofumi, showing that he's still not fully warmed up to her, tells her that if she can't fight, he won't take care of her anymore, to kind of push her a bit. And of course Raffi kills the rabbit, and she begs Nofumi not to throw her away. And this is to show the harsh reality of this world, what he's in. This isn't a game, even though the other heroes that you're going to see later on are going to take this as a game. This is no game anymore. This is real life kind of thing. I thought that was really well done, but people are going to take it a different way. But nonetheless, we see that Nofumi gets Raphitilia another good old sword, and I thought it was quite nice of him. And they head to Loot, which is another town or village, and basically he's going there to get money, and he asks, I thought it was hilarious, because this is the question I find myself asking everyone in good old Terra, where can I make the most money, basically. And he finds out about a cave that has ore that he could sell for a lot, but the issue is, since the first wave, there's been monsters in the cave. And of course, he heads towards there, not really caring because, you know, Nofumi don't care. But Nofumi actually unlocked the rope shield, and we finally see the air shield. That kind of, you're going to see a lot more that comes in handy. So they head into the cave. Raffi spots an actual two-headed dog and starts to have flashbacks of what happened, and she starts to freak out, and it starts to charge at them. Nofumi actually saves her by taking her jumping down, and tells Nofumi, well, she tells Nofumi that that's the kind of monster that killed her parents, and he kind of realizes what the situation he's kind of in, and this is where we start to see the relationship get a whole lot better, and he starts to trust her. And Nofumi basically tells Raffi if she gets stronger that she can prevent kids from going through what she did. And I thought that was quite well done, because it's just, if you have something that you are scared of and you want to better the world, you could go out there and, you know, prevent other people from going through it. I thought that was quite noble. But anyways, we see that Nofumi was willing to sacrifice himself at that point for Raphitilia to run, to survive. He was willing to die for her. And I thought that was quite a nice touch that a lot of people, it would go over their head, but who knows. Maybe some people picked it up. I know manga readers probably did, but Nofumi actually makes Raphitilia overcome her fears, and it's quite, I know it was brutal, but it's just to show the situation. I can't stress that enough. So we see Raffi charge the dog and kill it. And this kind of helped her overcome what happened to her. It's going to basically take the mental damage that she had from losing her parents, kind of twist it into a way that she can keep living, and she's going to, of course, live longer now, even though in the beginning the slave trader said she doesn't have long to live. Nofumi basically saved her. He basically was the parent or the guardian that made her overcome something that she couldn't by herself. And I thought it was quite nice and just well done, honestly. And we see basically after the whole thing, Raffi goes and runs to Nofumi, holds him tightly, and tells him to never leave her. And without spoiling much, I know people are going to say, oh, they never get together. Read further in there. The ending, the light novel is over. Manga is still going. The author did such a satisfying ending. She gave us 3 endings, so do check that out if you want to read the light novel. But we see that after she didn't want to let go, Nofumi kind of understood, and Nofumi's going to go absorb the dog now in his shield, which you're going to see him do a lot with monsters. It's going to actually unlock a certain shield that I like. But nonetheless, wonderful episode. I know there's going to be controversy after this episode, most definitely. I don't think it's the Goblin Slayer of Winter. I think it's going to probably piss off a lot of more people, because people don't know literature. And it's quite funny that they keep calling the author a male that hates females, but little do they know that majority of the staff is female. But what do I know, right? But overall, I can't wait for the next episode. We're going to see Raffi kind of older. Before we get to that episode, I have to stress, with demi-humans, they age differently versus humans. You'll see next episode. I don't want to spoil too much, but Raphitilia is a character. Her story arc is one of the most touching ones, I think, in the entire series, honestly. And it just, when you start to realize her background and see her overcome many things, it's just, you feel good. And she's a well-done character. Nofumi is obviously still cold. He still hasn't warmed up. And without spoiling much, someone's going to break him out of that, and I can't wait for the next episode. This is going to, of course, be the second wave or the first wave for the heroes, and Nofumi's a good guy. The other heroes aren't, and I don't know if anyone caught on, actually, before I end this video, that how the merchant said these heroes you think would have this done, they're heroes kind of thing. You kind of see that the heroes are kind of doing whatever they feel like, basically, and it's going to show in the next episode. But nonetheless, did you enjoy this episode? Because I wholeheartedly did, and I can't wait for this next episode. Give me that next episode, Dan! But anyways, guys, thank you for watching this entire video. Do consider, subscribing, because I am going to cover this series a lot, and I'm going to give it the Darling in the Franxx treatment that I'm going to kind of dedicate my channel to it, because I love Shield Hero a whole lot. But anyways, guys, this is Austin-Sensei signing out. Peace.